This video will show you how to set up a custom domain for your Thinkific site. This feature is available on all Thinkific paid plans. You'll need to start by setting up a CNAME record with your domain hosts. Some popular domain hosts include Hover, GoDaddy, and Bluehost. One thing to note is that your custom URL in Thinkific will need to be set up as a subdomain and not a primary or root domain. For example, my primary domain is rathaeats.com. This means the URL in Thinkific would need to be set up as courses.rathaeats.com or learn.rathaeats.com or even www.rathaeats.com. Since my domain is rathaeats.com, I'm going to set up courses.rathaeats.com for my Thinkific site. Here's how we'll set it up. Do note I am setting this up in Hover, but the general setup and principle should be similar across the different domain hosts. First thing I'm going to do is head into DNS. This could be zone editor, zone settings, DNS zone file, advanced DNS, something like that. Going to add a record. You'll need to add a CNAME record. So the type is CNAME. You might also hear host name, host alias also being used for host name. This would be your subdomain. So since my subdomain will be courses.rathaeats.com, it's going to be courses in the host name. If you use www or learn or education, this is where that would go. Now the target would be my Thinkific site. You just want the root of the Thinkific site and not the HTTPS portion. The target name is also known as the value or points to, something like that. The TTL, just leave it default. This is time to live. Hit add record. And that's it. Sometimes the change is immediate and sometimes it'll take a couple of hours. I always recommend testing your CNAME setup. Here you can see that the DNS record is published, it's found, and the CNAME setup looks correct. Once you are sure the CNAME setup is correct, you can head into your Thinkific site under Settings, Site URL to add your new custom URL. If you're 100% sure the setup is correct and it's pointing to your Thinkific site, you can make it primary. And what this means is that the Thinkific, this version of your URL will no longer be seen and visible. It will only be this URL. I'm 100% sure the setup is correct. I'll click Save. And that is how you can set up a custom domain for your Thinkific site.